Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now, here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
I got to be honest with you. Since last Wednesday afternoon at 2:30 when the story about Texas and OU and the SEC broke, there's not a lot of other things that have been really top of mind for me when it comes to sports. On occasion, an Olympic story, but even then, that's kind of like, oh, well, that's going on. And then the Cowboys at training camp, which we normally would be, but not right now. And David Helman is there for us, DallasCowboys.com, DallasCowboys.com, and he joins us from Oxnard. David, you're an SEC guy, an LSU guy. Your thoughts about the additions of a couple of big, pricey toys?
Yeah, that's been an interesting week. I mean, I'm not particularly – I would prefer not, I guess. You know, I mean, I grew up in the SEC. It's old school conference. The membership hasn't changed a lot in 80 years. Kind of it makes you nervous about what you might lose. You know, are we still going to play Alabama every year? Are we still going to play Ole Miss every year? How much, you know, all that type of stuff. But, you know, it's not really up to me. So it seems like it's going to happen. And, you know, bring it on, nerds. I mean, we beat Texas a couple years ago. I'm sure we can do it again.
David, camp's been going on for just under a week now, and early reports are that CeeDee Lamb looks very much like he is comfortable being in the NFL, and after he said he wasn't last year in spite of playing pretty well, and that Trayvon Diggs looks really good.
Yeah, those two guys look awfully impressive. And, you know, I keep saying that I try to guard against optimism season because this is just the time of year where everybody's doing better than they've ever done, and they're seeing the game better. But I mean, those two guys, they really do they do look like they're going to continue that impressive progression from last year. I mean, Trayvon had 2 interceptions in practice just today. He looks really comfortable out there, and you know, I don't know if CD is ever going to reach the levels that Dez reached, but I mean, he certainly he looks like he belongs in '88. He's got that type of talent.
David, thoughts on the Cowboys signing Malik Hooker?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the Cowboys front office for doing something about a potential problem. Because so often we just hear them say like, "Oh well, we already like who we have. We already signed so and so." And to be fair, DeMonte Casey has looked pretty good out here at camp as well, but. I mean, they don't really have much of anything at the safety position. You know, Donovan Wilson is a promising young player, but, you know, I don't think he's letting you, I don't think he's, you know, I don't think you're sleeping good at night based on that. And the same thing, you know, I don't think they have a true free safety. So just keep throwing stuff at the wall. Malik Hooker was a top 15 pick a few years ago. It's mainly been injuries that have limited him. It's not about his talent level. So if he can stay healthy and tap into that, it could be a steal.
David, I followed your Twitter timeline, and it seemed like quite a bit, and obviously there's video now involved that people put up as well. Like every other one, seems like somebody's intercepting Dak or whoever, and the defense making plays, knocking. I know it's this time of the year, but it seems as if at least they're being disruptive. Is that comforting right now?
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, Dak has had a fantastic start. Today was rough for him and for the offense. I think he threw 3 picks today. The defense was really getting after it. But we know Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. We've got 4.5 years of evidence that suggests that he'll be just fine. Not to mention, he's always been kind of a gamer. Like, practice has never really been his strong suit. People love to tell stories about, you know, he looked like absolute crap out here for 2.5 weeks and then went into the preseason against the Rams and just lit the world on fire. So, I'm not worried about Dak struggling in practice. What I am worried about is this defense. So to see them getting after the football, intercepting passes, disrupting things, yeah, I care way more about that than whatever Dak is doing during training camp.
How about Randy Gregory so far? Another guy who appears to be, ready to go.
I just said that I'm doing my best not to drink the Kool-Aid, but it's really hard. It's really hard not to with him. And I think part of that is his story. We know everything we've been through. We know how hard it's been for him to stay on the field and be available. But man, I mean, he is bulked up. He looks yoked. He looks, you know, a big thing for him was always keeping weight on. I mean, he looks like he's done a great job with his off-season conditioning, being available throughout the off-season. and he's just murdering people out there. I mean, he's making plays in the run game. He's getting after the quarterback. He's given Tyron Smith problems. He's given Lyle Collins problems. The pads aren't on, so we'll see what that looks like when they start padding up tomorrow. But he looks really, really impressive through the first week.
So, David, looking about the middle of the preseason, or at least a couple weeks and change for the return of DeMarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper, according to Jerry?
Yeah, it sounds like that'll be back when we're in Texas again. I don't think they're going to do much while we're out here in California, which, you keep an eye on that because, people love to lie. They'll say, oh, he's a couple weeks away, and really it's more like a couple months. I don't think that's the case with these two. DeMarcus is out here rehabbing and working with the trainers during practice, and he looks fantastic to me. I think they're just being careful with those guys. And, they've both been to Pro Bowls. I don't need to see them a lot, me personally, so I'm A-okay with them taking their time.
David, is there something you've seen so far that a red flag? I know it's early.
A red flag. The kicker's not healthy. The kicker's not healthy, which, again, the Cowboys insist that Greg Zuerlein will be fine, and that's not a big problem. But that is, that's a position where, you don't have another one. You typically only have one. So if your Pro Bowl kicker that you're counting on isn't completely healthy, that always gives you pause. So I got my eye on that. Like I said, I don't think it's too serious, but like I said, when you don't have a kicker, you're kind of in trouble. So hopefully it's not too long-term of an issue.
So where is when you get away, David, and ramp down the day or decompress, where is your favorite place to go drink a couple of cold ones?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like we probably talk about it too much, but God, the Rudder Room is it's just a wonderful little spot. I mean, it's right there on the beach. You can go sit in a beach chair and look at the ocean and drink a beer, and it's a throwback place. It's cash only, and it looks like it hasn't been cleaned since the 60s. I am a huge proponent of dive bars, so yeah, the Rudder Room has a dear place in my heart.
The last time I went there, I went with Ed Werder, and I was waiting for him to come, and I walked in, and I had to walk out for a second because the hallway was definitely not cleaned, and the hallway is where the restrooms are. And Ed's like, "What's going on?" I said, "You'll see."
I will say, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I think they took the time during COVID to kind of. I mean, it's cleaner than it used to be. It's still a 50-year-old dive bar. So I mean, it's not nice, but it doesn't smell bad in there anymore, which is great.
The service is always good. I mean, you don't have to wait too long. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, I mean, put down a $5 bill, get yourself a Miller Lite, and go sit on the beach. It's great.
All right, David, thank you. Enjoy the cool, beautiful Oxnard, California Cowboys training camp, just a little bit north of L.A. That's David Helman, DallasCowboys.com. When we come back, let's see, we might get to a couple of text and phone calls. John McClain, Houston Chronicle, around the corner as well. NFL Hall of Fame writer. Paul's Top 5 coming up in